Elgin Baylor is a former GM, general manager for the Clippers, and recently he had an interview with CNN to talk about Donald Sterling's behavior. Now, he was fired from Donald Sterling. It's important to know that. And he is filing or had filed a lawsuit against Sterling back in 2009. So it's important to know those facts before you hear the allegations in the video. But with all that said, take a look.
I believe in your lawsuit as well, you said that at some point Donald Sterling would bring women into the locker room and point out the black players.
Oh, he did it on many occasions.
What would he say?
Oh, look at those beautiful black bodies. That's what he used to say.
So while the guys are naked or half naked?
And while the guys are, shower and everything else. And on several occasions, I told them not to. Players were, they were mad. They were upset about it. And I told them on several occasions. And he kept doing it. And eventually, it stopped.
Why do you think he's this way? I mean,
why? Why is he that way? I don't know. One thing, I'll probably get attention. I know that. He likes that attention.
So, look, Elgin Baylor did sue Donald Sterling for age and race discrimination. And you could say he said, she said, if it weren't for all the other contexts.
Right, exactly.
Right? But that smacks of the truth based on what we know about Donald Sterling. And it goes to the same thing that they talked about at some point in the interview here, which is what Elgin Baylor thought was kind of a slave plantation mentality, right? So here are my young bucks, and I'm going to show them off like their property, right? And now, in order to justify his racism, at one point, Donald Sterling talked about, I feed them. And I put, and you're like, oh my God.
He sees them as his property, like animals or something. And it has his past statements, the allegations that you hear in that video, it makes me feel so sick. And, in that interview with Anderson Cooper, they kind of talked about how important it was for V. Stiviano to release the tape, even though at this point she's denying that she's the one who leaked the tape. They're saying, look, if these conversations were never recorded, there would never be a way of proving it. Because with all these years of racism and discrimination and poor treatment toward the players, I was kind of shocked that none of them spoke out against him. But it's probably because they felt powerless against him and they needed hardcore evidence to prove that this kind of stuff was happening.
Well, Elgin Baylor had a really hard time in court proving it when he sued him for discrimination. And, and on the housing discrimination that Donald Sterling did, he paid a fine, but even then he wouldn't admit that he actually did it.
Right.
Right? So thank God somebody finally got him on tape. He must have been saying this stuff for decades. I mean, who comes in and shows off like the naked players to girlfriends to impress them?
By the way, I don't know if that's such a good idea, Donald Sterling.
Yeah. Oh, and then he gets pissed that they're hanging out with them.
Yeah.
Well,
to be fair,
I wonder why.
To be fair, he's okay with them sleeping with black people, but he's not okay with them putting it on Instagram. So. Yeah.
Because God forbid his rich friends would be embarrassed. Like, oh, look, that's how Donald's girlfriend is with black people.
So his wife, Rochelle, is defending him, saying he's not racist. And by the way, is still married to him. You're married. I get it. You like that lifestyle, right? You love it. But how can you, just destroy your own name, destroy your reputation to pal around with someone like Donald Sterling?
She's been with him for decades.
I know, it's disgusting.
You think she disagrees with him? You think she disagrees with him?
But okay, so let's say she's racist too, which of course I think she is, but let's say take that out of it. Just everything else. His treatment of women, his mistresses, how he's openly sleeping with all these other people, all the trouble he's been in the past. He's just a bad guy. It goes beyond the racism.
Yeah.
And you're with him because you like the money and you've been with him for decades. Who cares? I don't understand people that want to stay in a relationship like that.
Here's my advice to the Sterlings. Just shut up already. Take your money and run. I mean, Rochelle Sterling, are you mental, man? Shush. We're not even talking about you. Now you bring yourself into the news for no reason, and now everybody's got to be wondering what you did for decades. Look, sell the Clippers. You're going to get not a small fortune, a giant fortune. That's a franchise that's going to be so valuable. People are going to compete for it. You're going to get unjustly enriched. Take the money and shut up already.